Let's get right into it. We have all been there, right? You're full of motivation, you set a brand new goal, and then, just a few weeks later, you find yourself right back at square one. It is so frustrating. But what if the problem isn't your willpower? Today, we're going to unpack the actual science of why it's so hard to follow through, and how you can use your brain's own programming to finally make those goals stick. I mean, this is the classic example, isn't it? Every single January 1st, millions of us decide this is the year we're going to get in shape, or save more money, or learn that new skill. And yet, you fast forward to February, and the gym is way emptier, and all those old habits are right back where they started. So, what's the deal? Why does this exact same pattern happen over and over and over again? Now, here's what's really wild. The people who succeed and the people who fail, they often have the exact same goals. I mean, think about it. Two people can start on the very same day with a very same ambition, like getting fit. One of them actually does it, and the other one quits. So if the goal itself isn't the thing that separates them, what is? That's the mystery we're going to solve.
To find the answer, we have to start with a diagnosis. And it turns out the reason we all struggle so much isn't because we're lazy or because we lack discipline. It's because our brains are running on very, very old software. Software that was designed for a completely different world.
Think about it this way. For almost all of human history, survival was tough. Calories were incredibly hard to come by, so our brains evolved to be hyper-efficient, always looking for the path of least resistance to conserve energy. That ancient survival drive is now clashing with our modern world of, well, DoorDash and Netflix. And scientists have a name for this. It's called an evolutionary mismatch. And this mismatch creates a really powerful cognitive glitch called present bias. Your brain is basically wired to want good things now. So the immediate, guaranteed reward of relaxing on the couch will almost always feel more important than the distant, abstract reward of being healthier a year from now. So here's the key. You're not just fighting a bad mood, you're fighting biology itself. And if you want proof of just how deep this programming goes, get this. A groundbreaking study looked at the Hadza, a modern hunter-gatherer group in Tanzania. These guys are incredibly active, walking, hunting, foraging all day. So you'd assume they burn way more calories than a sedentary office worker, right? Well, you'd be wrong. It turns out their total daily energy expenditure is almost identical to ours. This discovery is called the constrained energy model. It suggests that when we increase our physical activity, our body cleverly finds ways to cut back on energy use in other areas to keep the overall budget balanced. So what does this mean for you? It means that the resistance you feel, that urge to just stay on the couch, it's not a character flaw. It's your ancient survival code seeing that unnecessary trip to the gym as a direct threat to its precious energy reserves. So if we're fighting our own biology, what are we supposed to do? How do we work with this ancient brain instead of constantly fighting against it? Well, that brings us to the prescription. And the first step is a really powerful mindset shift that goes way, way deeper than just setting a goal. See, most of us get this completely backward. We focus on outcomes. We say, I want to lose 20 pounds. But real, lasting change comes from focusing on your identity. It's about deciding, I'm the type of person who is active and healthy. It's a subtle shift, but it's the difference between chasing a result and becoming a new person. This analogy just nails it. Imagine two people trying to quit smoking. Someone offers them a cigarette. The first person says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. See that? They still see themselves as a smoker who is struggling. Every single no is a battle. The second person says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. For them, the decision is already made. It's part of their identity. There's no fight. Okay, so how do you actually build this new identity? Not by just thinking about it, but by proving it to yourself. You start with a ridiculously small action. I'm talking one push-up. Then you treat that tiny action as evidence. You've just cast a vote for being an athletic person. The more you repeat it, the more votes you accumulate until the evidence becomes so overwhelming that you just have to believe it. It becomes who you are. All right, changing your identity is huge. But the next part of our prescription is all about engineering your environment so that being lazy actually works in your favor. The whole goal here is to make the right choices the easiest choices. I absolutely love this quote because it is so true. You know how it is. Motivation is fickle. It's here one day, gone the next.
But a good system, that runs on autopilot. True success isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about building a system where good habits happen almost automatically. And a fantastic way to build one of these systems is with something called habit stacking. You just piggyback a new habit you want to form onto a habit you already do without even thinking about it. The formula is simple. After I do my current habit, I will do my new habit. So something like, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Your coffee break becomes the trigger. Easy.
Now this next technique, oh, it's clever. It's called temptation bundling, and it's how you directly hack that present bias we talked about earlier. You take something you want to do, and you pair it with something you know you should do. You're basically bribing your present self to do the hard work.
So for example, you could make a rule for yourself. I only get to watch the new season of my favorite show while I'm on the treadmill. Or I only get to listen to that super popular true crime podcast while I'm doing chores around the house. And this isn't just some cute idea, it's backed by science. One study found that people who could only listen to popular audiobooks at the gym, they ended up going 51% more often. It just works. Okay, our final set of tools. These are for the trenches. These are simple tricks you can use in that critical moment of choice, right when your brain starts screaming, no, and you feel yourself starting to hesitate.
The first hack starts with this number, 5. It's called the 5-second rule. The second you have an instinct to act on a goal, like getting out of bed instead of hitting snooze, you start counting down, out loud if you have to, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you physically move. You don't think, you just move. That countdown interrupts the part of your brain that's about to make excuses. It short-circuits the hesitation. And our second hack starts with an even smaller number, 2. This one is the 2-minute rule. Whatever new habit you're trying to build, you shrink it down until it takes less than 2 minutes to do. Read every day becomes read 1 page. Go for a 30-minute run becomes put on my running shoes. The goal here isn't to master the habit on day 1. It's to master the art of just showing up. Because consistency is so much more important than intensity, especially at the beginning. So, we have our diagnosis and our prescription, but there's one last crucial piece of the puzzle. We have to talk about what happens when that initial motivation fades and things start to get, well, a little boring. This right here is where most people give up. It's a concept called the valley of disappointment. It's that really frustrating period where you are putting in the work, you're being consistent, but the results you were expecting, they just aren't there yet. It feels like all your effort is for nothing, and this is the most dangerous point in any journey. It's the moment most of us throw in the towel. But this analogy brilliantly illustrates what's really happening. Think of an ice cube in a cold room, say at 25 degrees. You slowly start to raise the temperature. 26 degrees, 27, nothing happens. 31 degrees, still just an ice cube. It feels like all that energy is being wasted. But then, the moment the room hits 32 degrees, a breakthrough happens and the cube begins to melt. All that earlier work wasn't wasted, it was just being stored.
And that is exactly what your habits are. They are the compound interest of self-improvement. The results are delayed, but they are not denied. The real key is to trust the process and to understand that all the small, consistent, and sometimes boring work you're doing right now is storing up energy for a breakthrough that you just can't see yet.
So in the end, this isn't about some massive, heroic effort you're going to make tomorrow. It's all about the small choices you make today. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. What one tiny vote will you cast today for the person you want to become?